So we'll be going over IRS Notice CP63. This is the tax notice that you might receive from the Internal Revenue if you filed a tax return and you're expecting a refund, but the IRS is holding on to it because of a tax return that you did not previously file from a previous year. So in this example, it would be the IRS holding a taxpayer's 2017 or 2018 tax refund because they had not received their 2017 tax return. So this notice is one page. We'll go through it step by step. I want to point out a couple things at the top. So I do this in every one of these videos. In the upper right hand corner, you'll see the notice date, the tax year that's impacted, the notice date, social security number, and contact phone number. So the notice date is probably the most important thing because any action items or any due actions are based on a number of days from the notice date. For example, many times people might want to, disagree in writing or respond to the IRS that they disagree with the notice. Usually that's 60 days. Payments, depending on the type of payment, there's a certain number of days that a payment can be due from the notice date. So depending on when you receive this, you might already be well into that notice period, but pay attention to the notice date because if there's anything in the notice itself that ties back to the notice date, you'll want to know that. And then the second thing over here on the left-hand side, verify your taxpayer information to make sure it's correct. If you've recently relocated, if you've moved, your address on file will normally update when you file your next tax return. But if you relocate, and it's going to be some period of time before you file your next tax return, you should consider either calling the IRS and changing your address over the phone or filing the change of address form. So that would be IRS Form 8822 for individual taxpayers, IRS Form 8822-B for business owners. And we'll put links in the show notes to articles and videos about both of those forms. So we'll take a quick snapshot of this. This is pretty straightforward notice. As I mentioned, this taxpayer apparently did not file the 2017 Form 1040, so the IRS is holding their 2018 tax refund until they can determine whether or not you owe additional taxes for that previous year. So what the IRS will do is give you a chance to file that prior year tax return, or they'll go ahead and calculate your estimated tax based on the tax information that was reported to them on W-2 forms, 1098 forms, 1099 forms, things of that nature. So what you would need to do to correct this is file the tax return with any supporting forms and documentations. There's a due date that appears to be about 10 days after the notice date. So you can file electronically, or you can mail your tax return to the address that's provided. The IRS basically says if we don't receive your tax return, then we'll determine your tax for you based on other information received from third parties, which means you may not qualify for deductions or credits that you would have received if you filed your own return. Once you file your prior year return, then it might take up to 12 weeks for the IRS to determine whether or not you owe additional taxes. And then if you do, then the IRS would apply part or all of your refund to that tax bill. If you conversely are expecting a refund, then the IRS would simply give you a refund for each year's tax return. So there's some additional information here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this link right here, which takes us to the Understanding Your CP63 Notice page. And so basically it kind of walks through very similar information. It does have links to other resources. So if you need to talk about an installment agreement or a payment plan, offers and compromise, you can do that. There's some frequently asked questions. And then links to publications for people with, kind of some of the more common tax situations. So again, if you disagree with the notice, then you should call the 800 number. If it's been more than 8 weeks since you filed it, you should also, call the IRS to just check to see where your tax return is. If you've already filed your return in the past 8 weeks, then you don't have to do anything. So this is a pretty straightforward notice. Basically, it's saying, hey, we don't have your prior year tax return on file, so we need to fix that before we can give you the refund. So, as with most cases concerning the IRS, if you have questions, you should reach out to them. If you are frustrated or, not sure what the IRS is trying to get at, then you can call them to clarify your tax situation. So that's about all we have for this notice. As I mentioned, we'll put links in the show notes to the articles and videos we've created about some of the forms mentioned here. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or if there's a topic you'd like to see in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.